This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am joined today by a gentleman, a winemaker all the way from Chile, Mr. or Monsieur Emmanuel Riffaud. How are you today, sir?
Yes, fine, Jimmy. Nice to hear you.
So we have the Mapu Reserva Carménère here. Carménère was a
Yeah,
grape that no doubt you had some knowledge of before you moved to Chile, but it's much more widespread in Chile now than it is Bordeaux. What are your thoughts on Carmenere as a grape?
yeah. It's in my opinion, I would say magical grapes, because as you say, in Bordeaux we had only few percentage of Carménère in mostly in the Medoc area,
Yes,
but
yep.
and we never really use a lot of Carménère in the Bordeaux one. It's really a small percentage because to reach the right maturity for Carménère, you need to wait for a long time. So I mean, this Carménère or the Carménère we saw before for this 21 harvest, we are just harvesting now the Carménère this week. So that means we are mostly mid-May. So that means mid-November for the North Hemisphere. So just imagine to wait for or to have the climate to wait for mid-November in the North Hemisphere in Bordeaux. It's really impossible. So when arriving in Chile, I was really amazed by this grape variety and the taste you can have, because as I explained, when you have these three maturities with the Carménère, it's very impressive because you have a lot of sugar. The acidity is pretty down or going down quickly in Carménère, and you taste and you feel that you have a lot of sugar, obviously, but the taste of the tannin and the phenolic part is very green because you have the same molecule in the Cabernet, which is the polarizing, and
Yes.
this polarizing, it's much higher concentration in Carménère than in Cabernet Sauvignon. So that's why we wait for sometimes 1 month more if you compare to Cabernet Sauvignon to harvest this Carménère. So that means when you have these grapes and you are in the vineyard, I remember last week I was in Colchagua and it was like a sunny day, and you have this change color of all the leaves, and you have more pigments in the Carménère. So that means the color of the leaves, it's more red instead of more yellow
Yes, yeah.
in autumn time with the Cabernet. So you are in the vineyard with this red color and you taste this Carménère, and it's really the taste of some would say like a black salad fruit with some pepper and spice. So it's quite strange because we never use this pairing in the salad of fruit salad. So
Yeah.
and it's really the taste you have when you are in the vineyard and you taste it's very fruity, and sometimes it's like I would say like a blackberry marmalade, but with some spice and pepper. So it's like wow, it's very impressive, and I'm a fan of Carménère, so that's why I can tell you more things. But that's the point, because the point is also it's very difficult to reach this balance with freshness
Yes,
and
exactly.
maturity in Carménère. So if you are not in the vineyard tasting the grapes, it's impossible to reach the right maturity and the right harvest moment. So that way I like, because it's really like in the vineyard you are doing the wine, starting the wine.
It can be a very polarizing variety because of the pyrazine factor. How does one find that sweet spot where it's as balanced as this and that green vegetal element is not at the very forefront?
Yeah, it's a very good point, because this green aspect and when it was I would say like at the beginning of the story of Carménère in Chile, it was called like a Chilean Merlot. So you can imagine that the Merlot is more or less the first variety you are going to harvest.
Yes, yeah.
And the Carménère is the last one. So it was in the same parcel, mixing these two crab varieties, and they were harvesting in the same time. So that means in the moment of or the best moment of the Merlot. So it was so green. So that was the Chilean Merlot was awful. So people didn't like the taste of this green aspect. and they had much oak, too much oak, in my opinion, to cover this green aspect. So it was like a not so good. And now it's pretty interesting because we really have in many Carménère in Chile the real test of Carménère, which is obviously you need to have part of greenness in the Carménère to keep the freshness. So
there are some similarities to Merlot on the palate here, I find. Lush fruitiness that I'm getting here. But there is that defined vegetal note, but it's not predominant in this wine at all. It's very, very well balanced.
Yeah, because it's coming from Maule Valley, so it's the other part of the vineyard we have here. And you know, in the Maule, the climate and the condition we have, it's very interesting because you keep the freshness.
Yeah.
You are a little bit more in the south. It's 250 kilometers in the south of Santiago. So that means the condition, it's much more like, for example, we have 600 or 700 millimeters rainfall per year. So that means it's like a more fresh condition, more humidity, and you keep more freshness in the wine, and the best compromise with sugar and also phenolic maturity with Carménère is very important in this vineyard particularly.
This is exceptional value coming in at $13.95. I think if I were still teaching wine classes, I would use this as a benchmark Carménère. It's absolutely perfect for describing the personality of Carménère without scaring too many people off with those excessive pyrazines. It's really, really good. Can you tell me the story behind the Mapu label, the Mapu line?
Yeah, you know, Mapu, the name of Mapu is very interesting because it's the tradition in the Mapundung language, which is the original Indian people.
Yes.
It means earth, terroir. So
Right.
that's why we choose this name of Mapu, because it's the name of terroir, and we wanted to express really the taste of the Maule terroir with some, obviously, the best adequation with the grape variety. And one of our philosophy also is to use 100% of each grape variety in the bottle to really express the taste of the Carménère. So I'm very pleased to hear that it's like a benchmark for you, because we try to express the pure Carménère in the bottle.
I understand.
Then people say, okay, I don't like this one. Okay, so you don't like Carménère, but this is Carménère. This is our point. And if we are talking about the label, you know, we have the label Mapu, and this is the two Mapuche symbol, which is the La Clava. Clava, it's also the arm using by the Indian chef. And then this is the glass.
Yep.
Yes, yes. And the glass is the ceremony glass using for the wine. And this is the part of the clothes using for by the Mapuche.
Is the focus of the Mapu line that purity of fruit?
Yes, that's the idea, to have a very drinkable one, obviously to have a very fruity, and the expression of the Maule, which is also the freshness that we have in this vineyard.
Do the wines in the Mapu range see any oak whatsoever?
Yes, in this Reserva, we are using more or less 30% of oak,
yep,
but only for 6 months, and with only 10% of new oak, and the rest is 2, 3, and 4 years barrels. So just to have like a little bit of complexity, to add a little bit of complexity, but to preserve the integrity, the freshness, and the fruitiness. That's the most important.
And how many other wines are in this line?
We have 3 red, and we also have one white, which is a Chardonnay.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you very much for showing us the Mapu Reserva Carménère. We'll taste with you again very soon, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.